All righty. I'm sorry. I think we finally have this. I'm going to make you host again, Amanda. The ball is yours, and I'm going to mute myself and be quiet. Thank you.
Thank you. All right.
All right. So we'll get back into it here.
All right, hang on. Let's try again here.
What happened to the good old day when all we had was boards, right?
Oh, wrong screen.
Yeah. All right, it's all up there, Amanda.
Is it?
Now it's gone.
Okay, sorry. Here we go. Trying again. I think we'll get it this time.
Okay, it's there. Don't touch nothing.
Okay, don't touch anything. All right, all yours.
Okay, so this Easterday project is a combined effort with the Carbide Dock Port Rehabilitation Project, and in the current layout, you can see right to the right. Maybe a lot of people haven't seen that yet, but the dock is going to be rehabbed, about 1,100 feet of it. We're going to have new material storage areas. We'll have a new park area. And then the Seafreight Center is going to be down there. So it's going to be a very nice place to go to. The big thing for Easterday is our transportation connection with other transportation elements. So when things come into the dock, we have to have a reliable way to get them out to other areas. Easterday right now is as a national function classification of a minor arterial. And the city has designated as a truck route, but it has seasonal limitations on it right now. So we want to fix that coming up in the future here. The majority of the infrastructure that it's in Easterday, the water system was all done around the turn of the 19th century. So it's like 100 to 120 years old. So we got a lot of cast iron pipe in there that is susceptible now to breakage. The sanitary sewer that we have in there, similar. A lot of it's old clay tile or unreinforced concrete pipe. So it's anywhere from 100 to 60 years old. So the goal is here to rehabilitate the infrastructure on Easterday. That's the water sewer, storm sewer. That way we can reconstruct the roadway structure in it and bring it up to an all-season standard. That way we'll have, when we do finish the dock, then we'll have a transportation mode that we can use all seasons to move things in and out of that area. This project is under a build grant from the U.S. Department of Transportation. So it's completely funded, both the dock and Easterday. So the dock has about a $17 million price tag, and Easterday is about $4 million price tag. So I guess with that, I'll turn it over to you, Amanda, so you can tell us what you're going to do.
Okay, thanks, Dave. I'm going to flip to the next slide here. All right, so as Dave mentioned, the goal of this project from our standpoint as the engineers for the roadway reconstruction are to bring this roadway and the infrastructure beneath it up to more current standards so that it is reliable both underground and as a transportation resource for your community. Now, the proposed limits of this particular construction project involve Easterday Avenue from Ashman to Spruce. That portion of the road is going to be, we call it total reconstruction. And what that is everything underneath that's owned by the city will be reconstructed. So your storm sewer, sanitary sewer, water main, and even service leads to get the right of way at your properties. And then the road will be rebuilt above that with new concrete curb and gutter, new concrete sidewalks, new drive approaches, new asphalt pavement, pavement markings, everything that you would see on a brand new roadway. From Spruce out to Portage, that road is in a lot fairer condition than the rest of Easterday. And the utilities underneath that portion of the road are also much newer than those we're dealing with west of Spruce. So this portion of the project from Spruce to Portage is only going to be resurfaced. And what that means is where there's existing curb and gutter there now, that will remain where it's at and won't be replaced unless there's a piece that's in poor condition. We would remove and replace that. The majority of the road structure will be remaining in place through that area. We'll just mill off the top 1.5 inches of the asphalt roadway and repave it so that there's a nice new smooth surface to match the rest of the roadway to the west. We'll also be upgrading some sidewalk ramps and sidewalks in that area to bring things up to current ADA standards. All right, some of the detailed construction activities that we'll be undertaking on Easterday Avenue include much of what I've already mentioned. Sanitary sewer, water main, and storm sewer will be replaced and upgraded. The sanitary and water services that go to each of your homes will be replaced to the right-of-way line and connected to your existing service. And new roadway, concrete curb and gutter, concrete sidewalks, and new drive approaches will be placed to the right-of-way. There's a few photos on this that might be small for some of you to see, and I can pull up larger pictures later. But this is gonna give you an idea of what the road's gonna look like compared to what you see out there right now. So for much of the roadway, where you have parking along the sides of the road and the curbs are already present and you have sidewalk on both sides of the road, the width is going back the same width that it currently is. It will just be all new. There won't be the road won't be any wider or narrower than it is right now. And sidewalks are generally going back in the same locations as they are currently. Now, there is a section of the roadway east of Seymour that does not currently have curb and gutter on it. That will be getting curb and gutter. And that's what this bottom picture shows. So we'll be adding curb and gutter. That road will get a little wider than it is right now. And there are plans to add sidewalk to that section of the roadway as well. In addition to those construction activities, we are also making some intersection improvements. There will be 2 new mini roundabouts constructed on Easterday Avenue, and those are going to be at the Minneapolis and Amanda intersection. That's the picture on the left. And also at the Seymour intersection, which is the picture on the right. I know that there are several other intersections along this route. These 2 were chosen specifically for roundabouts because of the availability of property in those areas. As it happens, the city owns property on at least one corner of both of these intersections. And oftentimes with these roundabout configurations, we need additional right-of-way in order to fit these in. So those are two of the reasons, or that's one of the reasons why these particular intersections were chosen. I know that many of you are familiar with roundabouts. You have one in town. These that we're proposing for Easterday are nowhere near the size of that one. They're called mini roundabouts. They'll be one lane, and the center island is what they call a mountable island, which will allow traffic to drive over it. The general idea is for normal vehicles to use the roundabout like a traditional roundabout, driving in the lane around the circle. But due to constraints in areas like these, we know that some of the larger trucks or buses, fire trucks, things like that, may not be able to maneuver the radii of these circles. So that's why the mounds are left, or the centers are left mounded, so that they can be driven over when necessary. There are many benefits to roundabouts, and some of them are listed here. Fewer crashes and less severe crashes because traffic is moving at a slower rate. Increased pedestrian safety. As you can see in some of these photos, there'll be little, we call them like refuge islands or splitter islands. And those allow for a place, so pedestrian traffic that say is trying to cross Easterday at Seymour, they only have one lane of traffic to cross before there's a spot to stop and wait for a clearing to walk across the next lane of traffic. Additionally, these, yes. Sorry. Additionally, these roundabouts will provide some traffic calming. We'll have some landscaping in the one at Seymour is the hope. And also with the additional curved islands and some of the configuration through here, it will, in addition to the signage, will help traffic to slow down and maneuver at a safer rate. Even with that decreased speed of traffic, we do see increased intersection efficiency. So without having to have people stop, it's simply a yield to look for traffic. We are able to move traffic more efficiently through the roundabouts. All right, moving on to anticipated schedule and traffic control during construction. So at this point, we are still in the design phase of this project. We have a team of people between C2AE, our sub-consultants, and the city who are working very hard to make sure that we have a solid design for this project in order to make construction go smoothly. At this point, the earliest start date for any construction on Easterday will be late this summer or early fall. There's no guarantee that it's going to start then, but it will not start before that. This is no doubt a multiple season construction project due to the depth and significance of the underground utilities that we'll be replacing and everything that needs to be worked around through that. This will be split into a couple different construction seasons. We also, because of those deep utilities and the amount of construction that'll be going on, we will be closing portions of Easterday and detouring the through traffic. And then our contractor and our engineers in the city will work to make sure that property owners along Easterday, of course, have access to their properties during construction. And finally, just want to kind of summarize our next steps in the process. So as I mentioned, we're still in the design phase. There's still quite a lot of work to do to get to where we're ready to advertise for bids. In addition to finalizing the design, we'll be working with all the regulatory agencies to get permits in place and have their reviews completed. to make sure that everything is in line with what it needs to be. The project will be advertised for competitive bids.
Audio. Same system, test speaker and microphone. Audio
the project will be advertised for bids, and contractors will be able to provide their bids on that project. That's a process that will take place.
Hey, Amanda, will you just mute some of these people?
Oh, sure.
I can't do it on my end.
It worked.
It's on up there. Yeah, that's on. So let's see if this is muted here.
Just real quick, everyone, we're going to have you muted until the end of the presentation. So if you see that you're muted for now, just kind of
for some reason.
Amanda.
Okay, I think I got it. All right, so after the project is advertised for bids, we've passed all of our permitting and reviews and gotten the authorization from the grant agency to go ahead and advertise. Well, the project will be advertised. We'll take bids from hopefully several contractors, and we will work with the city to award that project to the responsible, and low bidder. After we have a contractor on board, we will schedule pre-construction meetings, and one of those will be a public pre-construction meeting prior to any construction starting out there. And this group that will be impacted by the project will be invited to that meeting. You'll get a chance to meet the contractor and hear directly from them what their detailed schedule will be, what their plan is for traffic control, and you'll be able to ask specific questions regarding when things might be occurring in your block, or any other details you might want to know regarding the construction process. The city and C2AE will all be present at that meeting as well. And hopefully through good communication, we'll be able to make this project go as smoothly as possible for everyone involved. So there's quite a long time between now and when we'll get to that pre-construction public meeting. So if you should come up with questions between now and then, if you don't get them answered tonight, Dave has mentioned that they would prefer to take your questions via email. That way they can be shared with my office or whatever, in order to get you the best answer as quickly as possible. So please email the city engineering staff, and their numbers, or excuse me, their email addresses can be accessed right from the city's webpage in the staff directory section.
Yep. Good. All right, man, we want to pass the ball back to me, please.
You bet. Okay. Yes. Do you have it?
I do. All right, 100% got it back. All right, so Mr. Boyle, is there anything else you guys want to talk about, or do you want to just open up for questions?
No, let's just open up the questions, and Amanda has available, the project plans on Google Earth, right, Amanda? So
yes.
If somebody has a specific question, we hopefully we'll be able to pull it up and show us what's going on.
So Dave and Amanda, I'll just kind of start off while I'm unmuting everybody. There's been a lot of talks about the roundabouts. And is there a significant cost difference on a reconstruction between a roundabout and a traditional four-way stop with signs, lights, and everything else that goes with it?
I can answer that, and it's no. The construction is similar. It's not really that much bigger when we look at it from an intersection standpoint. The big help to us, especially when we have signalized intersections, is that we get rid of the signals and we don't have that maintenance cost anymore. So there's some other benefits to putting them in.
All righty. I'm going to unmute everyone. Or if you know how to unmute yourself, we'll start with the people who know how to unmute themselves. If you can unmute yourself, if you have any questions, staff and I'd be more than happy to address them.
Raise your hand or say something.
Yeah, hello. Hello. I live on 355 Amanda. In my house, do you really think it's going to be safer, Amanda, to be backing out of my driveway right into a roundabout?
So we'll pull up that intersection here on the map.
Yeah, I can see my house right there.
Yep, just making sure.
Is this your house, the one I have my hand over right now?
Oh, the next one. The one with the brown little porch. The
Okay,
yellow.
right here?
And I back out right here. So somebody coming around, if I had an arrow, I'd show you. If someone's coming around that roundabout, they're not going to see me coming out of my driveway. They don't see me coming out of my driveway now. Sometimes when they're coming up Minneapolis, and they come around there. So now
they're extending the sidewalk.
They're really going to be limited in seeing me come out of my driveway. And another question I had, well, I'll save that for later.
Okay. So to answer the question about backing out of the driveway, yes, backing out of the driveway is always a situation when you're close to an intersection.
Yeah.
You know, I can tell you that the traffic will be slower as they go around in the roundabout than they are right now going straight through or simply taking a corner. They will have yields, and you know, the normal traffic flow around this roundabout should not impact you backing out of your driveway.
Right.
But it is when people are coming around the roundabout in order to head northwest on Amanda, you know, you will have to be cautious when backing out of your driveway, just as you are now.
It's a one-way street, Amanda. That's one way going that way. So.
Did you know that?
Yes, heading northwest.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saying if traffic is in the roundabout and they're heading northwest.
People that are coming around again because they missed the turn to go straight down.
It doesn't seem like it would be safer to me.
They have when they're driving south, they have a stop sign right now anyway and a blinking light, and they just make a gentle turn right. I don't see where that's slow enough as it is right there. I don't see the need for all of this. What's wrong with a yellow blinking light on one side and a red blinking light on the other?
You get federal money, you just want to spend it, is that it?
That's right.
You know, but no, I'm just, they're going to cut, see on this here too, they're still going to, it shows where they're going to cut that little corner there off too.
Yeah.
You know, part. So now when I back out there, you see where it's going to be now?
Yep. Yeah, these guys really are going to be in the roundabout.
Yeah. I'm right in the roundabout. Another question I did have, is, are you going to cut back some of my property?
She said no.
No?
No, there's no, if this is your house right here, no, the sidewalk is going right back where it is right now. And it actually, by the time it gets to the east side of your property, it's starting to veer away from the property line.
Okay, so don't you think this will affect the value of my property, having that right in my front yard? Or not? What do you think?
In terms of what, sir?
The value of my property.
It will not hurt it nor benefit it.
What?
No, there won't be an impact to your property value.
There'll be no impact?
No.
So if he were to sell it, the price would still be, this isn't going to deter people from wanting to buy that house because it's sitting on a roundabout?
I
Come on.
I can't say yes or no, but I would say no.
Okay.
I mean, that there's a lot of speculation and a lot of different things with that one, but I would say no. The roundabout will not have a negative impact on your property.
It will when I go to sell it, because I'm selling it January 2023. So you'll be doing all that construction. So what, I got to stay in this town another year probably.
But I mean, if you're trying to sell your house in the middle of a construction project, it's a different thing than before or after the project's completed.
Can't even retire and get out of here. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, sir.
This is Barbara from St. Barnabas. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Barbara.
Hi. There's about 6 of us here, so you may have a few questions. My question is, I have 2. Are we going to receive an assessment charge for all of this work that's going to be done to the main road?
No, ma'am.
It's going to be completely covered by whatever grant you have.
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay, that's 1. Number 2, did I understand you correctly? This is just my question. It's not St. Barnabas's question. Did I understand you correctly that you're designing and fixing Easterday because you're going to have more heavy traffic on it based on the dock situation? Is that correct?
Go ahead, Dave.
It's already a truck route. And so if the dock was down there, you know, right now working, it would be the same amount of traffic.
Okay, that makes sense. But what about the hill going up? I used to be a bus driver and we weren't allowed to go up that hill the rest of Easterday to hit Highway 70, or 75. Is that 75? Yeah, 75. So what's going to happen? The same thing that happens now? People will be rerouted?
They're going to get to the business spur and then they're going to have to go south, right? Yep, south.
South on Ashman like they normally would?
Yep, because that's another truck route, all season route.
All right, another question we have at St. Barnabas is, what statistics do you have to support that there's a need for this roundabout in this location?
Amanda?
We weren't involved with the study, but we have a sub-consultant who has evaluated the traffic flows and the projected traffic flows on these. And there is a number of, there's a great deal of information available that, you know, a lot of communities are looking at roundabouts as a safe alternative to traditional intersections because of the safety factors and the efficiency factors of roundabouts.
We appreciate that. We, however, some of us don't have that same viewpoint, but irregardless of the viewpoint of the safety, what data do you have that says this needs to go in this particular spot? Why not down by the Pat's store where there's going to really be heavy traffic because you're adding this great street people can use. So why would it be in this particular corner? We're really confused.
Go ahead, Dave. I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, so we would have liked to put these roundabouts at every intersection that we could, actually. And we looked at all of them. These are the ones that we can fit them in. And the one down by Pat's doesn't have, there's not enough room for us to physically place one of these roundabouts. So,
well, is this roundabout necessary or is it part of a requirement to get the funding?
No, there's no funding requirement and it's necessary, yes.
Is that study available? We'd like to see that, please. The one that supports statistically that this is the best location.
Again, we can make whatever study we've done available. We'll have to dig it up, but it's not that this location is the best location. Like we had a couple of roundabouts lying around. We would put roundabouts in most intersections if we could. Roundabouts have a calming feature to the traffic. They're ultimately safer than four-way stops. So it's not that there's a requirement to have 2 roundabouts in every federal project. The way city traffic is going and the way the engineer and myself even view traffic patterns, roundabouts are just a safer means. And like Dave said, if we could put roundabouts throughout the city, we would put roundabouts throughout the city as well.
Well, I'll get off this, but I guess our concern is that there's other areas that would benefit greatly from these roundabouts, and you wouldn't receive so much feedback in terms of people's concern, because it is right in a residential area, and there are areas that have more traffic. So we really would like to see a study that supports the fact that this is where this roundabout has to go. As citizens of this town, and you are part of our citizenship, wouldn't you think you'd want to do that?
Say that again. What was that last part? You broke up a little bit.
I'm saying we're all part of this town, and you say you guys think it's the best thing. Well, there's citizens in this town also who are concerned it's not the best thing. I'm simply asking, do you have any data to support your decision to put this roundabout here? And from what it sounds like, the answer is no, but you have an opinion that this is the best spot.
No, as Amanda said, there was a study before this project was going on. We were awarded this grant in 2020. The grant application, all the work probably started in 18-ish, somewhere around there. And as the consultant said, there was a study. There is some data that shows it. But yes, we are also leaning on, just in general, roundabouts are a safer, better traffic alternative than 4-way intersections.
Yeah,
so
we're not arguing that. Okay, we'd like to have the study, please. So could you find a way to post it on your site so that citizens can look at that and determine if we as citizens feel this is the best use of this place for a roundabout?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Second, our third question is, oh, I took my glasses off. Are there going to be alternative routes for fires, trucks, and ambulances during this time of renovation? Because we know from history, especially with our weather, it takes quite a while to get things done around here.
Yes, just like any normal construction project, there will be detours and alternative routes for all traffic, including fire trucks, police cars, and ambulances.
Yeah.
Okay, great. I appreciate that.
We'll work those out with them before we put them in place.
Yep. Internally, when we go through a project like this, especially since we have a lot of new staff members on board, Dave, our city engineer, meets with the fire chief, the police chief, DBW director, everyone to kind of make sure everyone knows what's going on and can fit their vehicles throughout these areas. So.
Okay, thank you.
All righty. I see a hand up from Rick. Rick, can you unmute yourself? I can't. There we go.
All right. I live on Easterday down here, right next to Burton's. I'm the property right next to them. And are they going to take the hill down? I know years ago they were supposed to, and they stopped the curb right at my property. If you go all the way down to Burton's there on your map, I'm on the south side of the road, that's it right there. You know, back up one lot. Yeah, that's it right there. I'm probably at the peak of that hill right there. And I know they were going to take that down, and I was just curious if they're planning on it now.
Rick, I can tell you that we looked at that with the city, and no final decisions have been made yet, but due to the narrow right-of-way and how close structures are to the right-of-way in that area, and just the topography, it does not appear practical to cut that hill down at all.
And that brings my next question: is the sidewalk on the south side? I mean, it's going to be really tight because my yard's raised probably a couple feet above the road right there. And then when you get by Burton's, they don't have much room either for sidewalk on the south side of the road.
Yes, the right of way is certainly narrower through there than the rest of the project. And we are working to make sure we accommodate all the properties along there and fit a sidewalk. It's very important to the city that they provide a sidewalk on at least one side of the road along all of Easterday.
My last question is, before they, because I've got 3 lots there. One lot has campers on it. My daughter's, and then I got an empty lot on the other side of my house. I have no sewer in front of me. I go to the back alley, is where my sewer goes. And I bought the house next to me and tore it down a few years. Are they going to put water laterals into them 2 lots I have empty? Even though there is none there now? Or I guess, let me save you some time. Are they going to come around before they do all this so I know what kind of curb cuts I'm getting and stuff? Because you can see I got one driveway goes right through an empty lot to a garage out back. And I plow all my snow right where you're at right now in that lot right there. You know?
Yes, we will show on the design plans. The intent is to show driveways matching existing if they're there, or, you know, taking our best guess, if you will, if there's campers or things like that and not a designated driveway. But to answer your question, yes, during that pre-construction meeting that I mentioned, where we have the contractor, there'll be an opportunity to, you know, look at the final plans that are before they're going to construction, and you can make comments at that time so that we make sure our representative who's on the project along with the contractor know that you desire a change out there or something different.
Will they do a site visit to most of the I mean, some properties are pretty much self-explanatory, but mine's just a little bit different. You know, I mean, I'm right at the crest of the hill. You know.
Yeah, well, you know, we can certainly make that note that you would like to be contacted specifically, and we can make that happen. What I would also encourage, and what we usually talk about during that pre-construction meeting, is you know, C2AE and or the city will have representatives on site nearly full time during construction. They'll be wearing hard hats and safety vests and driving around a C2AE truck or a city vehicle, and you can flag them down at any time. You'll have their contact information. And so when you see work going on around your properties, you can certainly approach them and make sure that you're clear on what you're getting.
Sounds good to me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, sir. Amanda, real quick, I had a question come in on the chat box here. And Kip, I'll get you next. 1420 Easterday. They were curious if they were going to lose any property. I'm not 100% sure where that property is at on our maps here.
It's the one we're talking about.
Oh.
It's our driveway. It's right to the road. So we fit a length of a car right there right now. And if you add a sidewalk, we won't be able to park in the driveway.
Well, the work is going to be contained within the right of way. So we're not taking any of your property.
Okay, that's what I wanted to make sure.
The pink line's the right of way, right, Amanda?
That's correct.
That's correct, yep.
All righty. Kip, you have your hands up. Can you unmute yourself?
Are you able to hear me?
Yes, sir.
Oh, yeah, I just tuned into the meeting. I'm not sure, maybe you'd already covered the issue. But I've got a property at 209 East Easterday, and we're on a shared sewer with the neighbor. Are we going to be required to split off the sewer at when the new lines come through?
Yeah, we would recommend doing that. So you'll need to get with us on that so we can work through that. There was another question too about if you had open property, if we put the laterals in there, and yes, we would want to do it now when we're going through with the road construction so that they're there. We don't have to go and tear up the road later to put them in. So if you have those, let us know where they're at so we can work those in too.
Okay, because about 2 years ago, I went and I had some sewer problems, and I ran all new pipe out there and we tied the neighbor into it too there. I guess so. Who do I talk to about kind of coordinating that and like getting that a new line put in for the neighbor's house?
Yeah, just you know, send us you have email, and if you just send us email here in the city engineer's office, and we'll get that process rolling.
Hey Kip, I'll send you the email address right now in the chat box.
Okay, thank you.
I saw there was a question that popped up about the fire trucks getting through the roundabouts, and the fire department just recently got like one of the hugest fire trucks ever. We took that fire truck and its turning templates and worked that, and the roundabouts that we have will accommodate those fire trucks. So.
Does anybody else have any questions? I don't see any other hands up, and I won't be able to tell if you do, so you have to unmute yourself. All right, I see you waving down there.
Yep.
Yeah, this is Mike Smith from Amanda again. I got three quick questions. Next time you're going to do something, you said you sent letters in the mail. I never got one. So I hope next time you're going to do anything, you send a letter for people that are affected by this roundabout crap. Now, another thing I wanted to ask, what about the plowing? Because where I'm at on Amanda, I already get the plow already, it's already a cluster there because the plow plows when a real bad snow in the morning, they plow all the snow into my driveway from that intersection. All of it, almost all of it goes right into my driveway. So are they going to continue to do that? How are they going to plow there with that little hump there? Are they just going to do it the same way? Does anyone know?
Amanda, will you go back to that intersection, please?
Yeah, it's a mess anyway now. So it's, you know, there's a lot of snow here. So.
This part. How do you raise your hand?
Yeah.
All right.
Little thing here.
You can't. They're doing it.
Oh, okay.
They can't see yours.
Here, maybe.
Hold on a second. I got a lot of other people chiming in here. Hold on.
Yeah, don't do that.
All right. Go ahead, Dave.
I can tell you right now that intersection does not meet any current criteria the way it's lined up right there. So if we were to fix that with just a straight intersection, we would have to move it over to the west farther. So we lined up more on a 90-degree angle, and I think it would be worse than what you have right now. So I think with the roundabout, actually, we're going to make that roadway, that intersection, better than what it could be or what it is right now.
I'm just wondering where they're going to put the snow. If it's going to they're still going to do it the same way.
Yeah, so they're going to come around. That's going to be a new, it's a new thing for them. I mean, for this, but they're going to be. I'm not sure, how they'll come. They'll come down Easterday going west, I'm assuming, and go up Amanda. So it's probably going to be similar to what you have.
It's still going to go in my driveway. Yeah. All right. So one more question. Now you said that there was the city manager, Brian. So you said that when they asked you if this was contingent, the money was contingent on the roundabout, right? then you seemingly contradicted yourself because you said that you have to have 2 roundabouts per federal project. So which
No, I did not say that. I said it's not like you have to have 2 roundabouts for every federal project.
Oh, okay. It's not like you have to. Okay.
Correct. No.
I thought it was a contradiction there. I said, what the heck?
Thank you.
Say, all right, thanks. That's it.
Mr. Weir, I'm sorry, I muted you because you were kind of cutting in there. Do you have a question?
That's okay. Am I on?
Yes, sir.
Got 2 quick questions. One is from Spruce to Portage is just going to be resurfaced. That's still going to be all season?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Is it now?
Yes.
Okay.
That portion is.
Okay. My second question is I'm a little confused on the roundabout down by Charlie Brown's. Did I understand if you didn't make the circle, you just drive over the top of it?
Yes. Yes, it is.
That should be exciting with them semis.
Well, I can tell you that there will be it's going to be designed so that it can be driven over, and that's because of the constraints of that roundabout. We would not be able to maneuver large trucks, semis, fire trucks through those without having to get up on the center a little bit. So they make it purposely drivable, but it is mounted in the center, and it will be, it's not all just going to be asphalt. It'll be different colored concrete in the middle. There'll be signage and lighting and pavement markings that are directing people to use the roundabout, but recognizing that some vehicles won't be able to. So they will veer to the right, but they will no doubt have at least some of their wheels on that center.
So
mount.
We'll have to plow over top of that. The snow plows will keep that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
I think Brian should run that snow plow. Have Brian Chapman run that snow plow. He'd do a good job. Are you in for that, Brian?
Whatever it takes, sir.
Okay.
This is Barbara again. I'm curious. I didn't realize that you'd be able to cut through this roundabout on the other end. I'm curious, have they proven that is safe in terms of data that cars can go through as well as around and accidents are decreased?
I think nobody's going to be going straight through the roundabout. Everybody's going to have to do the circular motion on the roundabout. The only reason why we're saying that there may be some instances that the mountable center is going to be used is because of the trucks. It's not going to be everyday cars. Nobody's going to be going straight through the roundabout with their cars.
But the trucks, what about school buses? What will they do?
Well, they're going to follow the trucks, the school buses. Everybody's going to follow the way the roundabout goes. And we're just saying that they have their turning radius isn't that compact like a car is, and that some of their area and their back might be into the mountable area of the center of the roundabout.
Oh, so people don't cut right through the roundabout. You're saying you can go over parts of the roundabout.
Right, it just be right.
Okay.
You're still the roundabout.
And that's safer.
Traffic is still going to go around and around on the roundabout. It's the only reason why we're putting the mountable thing in there is because so that for the trucks, the larger vehicles that have to go through their trucks, buses, whatever, to try to navigate through there.
Okay, but nobody can cut through the middle. It's that your wheels will go more on the side of the roundabout. I misunderstood. I thought she was saying that it was set up so that people could cut through the middle of it if they needed to.
No, we'll probably have some kind of signage in the middle there. Nobody will be able to get right through there. No, not at all.
Even the trucks can't get right through there.
Right, exactly. Right. Yep.
Amanda, really quick, we had a question come in on the chat. what color are the sidewalks on the map? Will you just kind of highlight it so everyone can kind of see if they can?
Sure.
I know I got a bunch of screens up.
Yes, sorry. The sidewalks are black in this particular map. So the yellow or orange color that you see are the curbs on the roadway. And also they also depict driveways, but the black lines depict the new sidewalk.
Perfect, thank you. All right, if anybody else has any questions, just unmute yourself. Or put in the chat box here if anybody's got anything. Raise your hand. Wave your hand in front of your camera.
We have a question.
Perfect.
We're on Easterday in Minneapolis. We're the corner house.
Okay.
Yeah, the southeast corner.
Okay.
How far down Minneapolis do you plan to do? Because it kind of looks like you're going to stop before our driveway. It's hard to tell. Or do you plan to go to that first alley?
At this point, that hasn't been entirely determined yet. What you're seeing here is how far we need to go in order to match into existing based on our grades and things like that, so that you don't notice a big difference when driving, and to match into the intersection. There aren't plans currently to go to the alley, but that would be a decision for the city to make if they need to.
We're not gonna be able to park across the street anymore then on Minneapolis going south? That's normally like where we have our friends park if they come to visit. But it looks like that's not gonna be a possibility because that will be part of the roundabout.
So can you see my hand on there?
Yeah.
Right here. So I think, basically we have to have room just like you do on a normal intersection for vehicles to make that turn and get through here before we allow parking along here. But if it's allowed now, which I see that it is, I would think there will still be parking allowed. It just may be the sign saying no parking here to corner or something may have to be moved a little bit further south.
Right. There's also a fire hydrant right there too. So
okay.
Just didn't know about that as well. And then when you turn into our driveway coming from Easterday, people already don't stop. So I guess that's my concern, is that when we're turning into our driveway off of Easterday, like coming in, it's just going to be a pain because people don't pay attention when we're pulling in already.
Okay, so are you saying when you come off of Easterday and you're southbound and you go to turn into your driveway, people are right up behind you?
Yeah, people don't stop now.
They just gun it and, oh, you're turning. Okay. Would it make sense, just on here, put like a speed bump or something kind of around there to make people really slow down, watch what they're doing?
You guys broke up really bad there. I'm sorry. Could you repeat that?
Would it make sense to put in like a speed bump or something, like right getting off the roundabout there to really make people slow down and pay attention to what they're doing?
I'd say it's a possibility, but roundabouts typically create a situation where drivers are more attentive to what their surroundings and what's happening anyways. So it may not be necessary, but we can certainly look into it as we move forward with the design aspect of the project.
Okay, and then my last question or request, I guess, is if you guys do go to our driveway, it's only a 1-car driveway, and like the curbs don't really make sense right now, and we were wondering if it could be opened up to be more of a 2-car driveway for easier access to get in.
I think that's something that you can address with the engineering department kind of outside of this meeting. So if you want to give them a call or shoot them an email, I'm sure they'd be more than happy to have that conversation with you.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. All righty. Does anybody have any other questions?
I have a couple of comments, Brian, if I could.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
Just want to thank you and city engineer and C2AE and all the consultants. Every time that we look at a street project, I think just for the benefit of all the people here, we're looking at safety, and we're looking at trying to make Sault Ste. Marie a much more walkable community. And that's been a goal of ours. And I think that the Easterday Avenue striping project showed and has shown some success with the bike lanes. And some of the new, things that we look at is I think Brian has called it traffic calming, where you slow down the traffic a little bit, but keep the flow moving. Makes for a much safer and enjoyable drive. And I can tell you that I drive down Easterday just about every day, and the road is horrendous. The intersections are difficult. And I think that I'm very excited about seeing some relief at some of these intersections. And I've been in a lot of cities in Michigan and outside of Michigan that have this very type of roundabout. And it looks intimidating on paper, but they're excellent. And you've made a great point, great explanation. The big trucks will still follow the roundabout route, but their rear wheels will sometimes just glide over top of the edge of the circle. So I think that we have a great opportunity here, and every property owner along Easterday should be doing cartwheels. This is 100% funded by grant. You're getting all new infrastructure underneath, and roadway and curb and gutter. And there, we hope, will not be any assessments at all. So it's really a very rare opportunity. So we're very thankful for that. And it's part of an overall project with the carbide dock, tying it all together. And it's just a really positive project. And we look forward to seeing it go through there. So I appreciate very much. And the questions were excellent tonight, and the input is excellent. And I know that when we redid my street, we all had concerns, but very, very good comments. And I think when you look at the visuals, I'm looking at it right now, look at that sidewalk on the north side of Easterday. It looks like a rubble field. So these will be some great improvements for the city of Sault Ste. Marie. So look forward to seeing the shovels, and we appreciate it.
Who's that? All righty. There's some questions coming through from a Delana, but I'm not quite sure what you're asking. If people can drive through, why can't they jump into our yards? I'm not sure what that means or how that means. Can you unmute yourself?
Once you get into these roundabouts, you're not going to be going the same speed that you're going to be on the regular roadway. You're probably going to be at a 15 mile an hour, speed limit or speed in your car. So this is going to be more controlled through there. And it's not like somebody's going to be coming down the street and going through there at 50 miles an hour and landing in somebody's yard. That's not going to be the case. That's not what they're intended to be. They're intended to be to slow the traffic down and get you through the intersection safely.
And the way you can kind of think of traffic calming from the standpoint that you may be able to relate to, think about when you're driving down, was it Shunk Road, or even the school or the road by the high schools. Those are very wide, very open roads. There's nothing hanging over. and it kind of feels like a raceway. So people have the tendency to speed faster than they are. But think about when you're in the parking lot of a store, like at a Walmart or something like that, the amount of activity, the closeness of the vehicles, the people walking back and forth, you naturally have a heightened sense of alertness to what's happening. Roundabouts have that same effect. And actually a lot of different types of traffic calming measures typically have that effect. Trees overhanging, some cars parked on the side of the road. If you feel like something can happen, you drive and you're alert in that way. But if you have big open roads and nothing really to pull your attention there, you're going to drive at a much higher rate of speed. You're not going to pay as close attention to it. So there's a couple of hands that have came up. Rick, yours was the first one to go. You have the floor.
I got a question. Klein, is that the city right away?
Say that again, you broke up.
The pink line, is that the city right away?
Yes.
Yes.
You said yes, right?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. That's all I want to know. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, sir. All right. I see another hand up. You can go ahead and unmute yourself and go.
Go ahead. St. Barnabas? Yeah.
We want to know what you're going to do with the trees that were planted along Easterday just a couple of years ago.
The trees? Is that what you said, the trees?
Trees, yes.
Do you know what area we're in particularly talking about?
All along Easterday.
All along Easterday?
Replace the ones that were cut down, right? Yeah. They were to replace the ones that were cut down.
Dave or Amanda, can you guys talk about any kind of tree removal that may need to happen along this project?
Well, okay, so, you know, we like trees unless they get, you know, unless they're going to be an issue for us to build things. So, I mean, if we can save a tree, we'll save the tree. If they're, you know, if they're going to be a part of it or in the way of the improvements, then we may have to do something with them.
We will typically replace the trees as well. If we take one down, we'll put one up.
Yeah.
All right. Are there any other questions? All righty. Not really hearing a lot of questions, and it's.
Hey, can I ask a question?
Gary.
Yes. Yep. Whoever.
I want to ask a question to Don. You mentioned that you said you hoped there wouldn't be any assessments. I hope you will make that a definite. There won't be any assessments, is what my brother is saying. I don't live there. He does.
I caught that. There will not be any assessments. No. If there were assessments, they would have been done by now. So there won't be any street assessments or any public work assessment for this particular project. Correct. Nothing for the sidewalks either. Yep. I caught that comment. I already texted him about that too. So I'm on him. Don't worry about that.
Okay.
Tell him not to say that.
All righty. Are there any other questions? Last call. Last call, ladies and gentlemen. And again, we thank you all for coming out. Again, a lot of good questions, a lot of good conversation. We don't want it to end here. If you have other questions, you have other concerns or comments you want to provide, it's easy for me to say this. You can get a hold of our engineering department. They would love to take those calls and concerns from you. By all means, reach out to my office, the city manager's office. I'm sure your elected officials will also like to hear from you too if you want. So a lot of different opportunities and avenues for you to provide comments regarding this project. As we progress and we move along, you know, watch the city's Facebook page, keep an eye on the newspaper. They do great work in covering what we have going on. You know, a lot of opportunities for a lot of updates. So just keep an eye out and we will go from here. So with that, thank you everyone. And we shall adjourn. Thank you much.